Well. Hello, and welcome back to another FPL Mate deadline stream. Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing today? I'm doing blurrily. I am coming off the back of a power cut that happened in my house literally 5 minutes ago, just before I was about to start streaming. Absolute nightmare. I was like, am I even going to be able to stream? I'm trying to I was trying to do like the final bits and bobs for the stream, trying to get the graphics on, trying to find any last minute team news I could find, and all of a sudden the power went. But yeah, we managed to, I don't want to say make it on time because we didn't, but near enough, close enough. I think it's the weather. And also I've just noticed one of my lights has changed colour because obviously it's reset itself. Let me fix it. Don't worry, I have the app. The Philips Hue app. What colour was it even before? Was it purple? Was it blue? That looks kind of right. Was it that blue? Honestly, I can't remember what colour it even was. That'll do. That looks all right. It looks fine. Oh, dearie me. Who have we got in the chat today? Let's say hello to a few people. Let's see here. So, Abdi says, can you finish it at least 10 minutes before the game? You always leave it unfinished the last minute until the game starts. What? Leave what finished? The stream? Now, the stream will keep on going until the deadline, unless you're saying finish your team. Don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it. Why do you need my team to be locked in 10 minutes before the deadline? Why? Who else we got here? We've got Martin, we've got Adnan, we've got Huzai, Luca, loads of people here. We've got the powerful 13, and the double says, it's my birthday. Can I get a shout out? Shout out to Double. Happy birthday. Marasa Dual Links, hello to you as well. Yana. We got a bunch of people in here. What's up, guys? What's up? A few questions about Bruno G already. Interesting. Right off the bat. I do like him, to be fair. Yeah, we mentioned him as a name last match day as well, that we was on that kind of peripheral as one of those cheaper midfielders I do quite like. That hasn't really changed. Still quite like him. The only problem is I'm not totally convinced by him in Matchday 6. And I wonder, is he high enough upside to be worth a 1 week punt? Because if I'm going for a 1 week punt type player, then I kind of wouldn't mind, I don't know, I wouldn't mind them being the kind of player who could score like a 15 points. And don't get me wrong, any player can technically score 15 points. But if Brazil were to make it through, beat Norway, great stuff. After that, it's going to be, either England or Mexico. England are a good team. Right, guys? I think that's one thing I massively struggle with this week. Like, obviously, I think England are like a fairly good footy team, but it seems like the England hate is absolutely crazy online. I get it. England are not a particularly popular team internationally, to be fair. It is what it is. Kind of got to deal with it as an England fan. Always hated. There you go. But every time I say, oh, you know what? I might keep Kane this week. And all the comments say, how could you possibly keep Kane? England are the worst team in the history of football, and they are going to get battered by Mexico. I don't know, man. Odds suggest otherwise. And besides, it's not like I'm picking England. I'm picking Kane. And people say, England struggled against DR Congo. Kane didn't struggle against DR Congo. He did very well. And whilst, we could say, you don't like England, you think Kane struggled. Where is this energy when it comes to Messi, by the way, who only scored once against Cape Verde? And Argentina did struggle against Cape Verde as well. Where's the energy? Keep the same energy. That's all I'm saying, guys. Or just let's be honest and say Kane is great, Messi's great. Chinny says they're only mad it's coming home this year. I feel like this kind of English Confidence is perhaps what does put people off a little bit, to be honest. Beta says, is Medina fit to play against Egypt? Let me talk about that. Don't talk about Messi. I know I'm not allowed to talk about Messi anymore, am I? I'm not allowed to talk Messi. Yeah. But I'm just saying, if Kane and England struggled against DR Congo, we have to, in the same breath, say that Messi and Argentina struggled. I don't know. Oh wow, there is some very angry Messi fan in the chat. I'm so sorry. Messi is God. He is our false idol. He is our false idol. We must pray to him. Is Medina fit to face Egypt? Good question. So, let me try and find the exact quote. I did have it earlier. Actually, can I be bothered to find it again? I can remember it. So basically, what we saw is that Medina came off around, was it 82nd minute, something like that. And the issue was cramp and fatigue rather than it being an actual injury. So we have got confirmation Medina is not injured. It was just a kind of a cramp / fatigue related issue. And as such, he's not out. However, the next game for Argentina is in 3 days' time. So that is going to be coming up very soon. So maybe in that sense, there is some concern around whether Medina will be fully fit. Certainly, we're probably not expecting him to play 90. I think perhaps a small difference, and this was kind of noted by the manager, is Medina had to play a very advanced role in that Cape Verde game. Perhaps he wasn't actually the pick for that game, to be fair. Maybe Tagliafico could have played in that game. But Medina, usually more slotting in as a kind of a left centre-back kind of player. And instead, he had to run up and down the pitch a lot, which was unusual. You wonder if Medina is actually a player who is maybe slightly better for some of the tougher oppositions in that sense. I wonder, because he wasn't used to that particular role, apparently. So it's difficult. I think the problem is, like, Medina, you probably are going to be concerned around his minutes in Matchday 5, and so you should be. However, also, do we want to lose Argentina defenders? Let's see what Joe's odds are saying. I know you're in here, Joe. I did see you. Hello, mate. Let's see what the odds are saying. I knew Argentina were higher. 54% currently. So we're talking about one of the best defenses in the match day. And, Argentina then going to face the winner of Switzerland and Colombia, which by quarter-final standard is going to be one of the better fixtures. So I'm not really sure I want to move away from Argentina defenders. And I wonder if Medina, yes, he may not play this week. I don't know for sure. If you desperately need him, if I'm playing my my clean sheet shield, for example, I'm probably going to make a Medina transfer because I want to make sure I have 5 defenders who I'm 100% confident will play. But if I'm not, can I just hold off 1 week before really thinking about Medina in any more detail? Because at 4 million, he's kind of a cheat code and he allows for so much other stuff. And by the way, no, I haven't made transfers yet. I don't make transfers until the last minute. There's no benefit. I know people want me to make transfers early so they can copy them. Some people. But there's really no benefit of me making transfers early. Team news and little bits of information come all the way up until the deadline. We haven't even got the Morocco. I'm planning on bringing 2 Morocco players in. Maybe I could even do 3. But I'm planning 2 Morocco players in, and we don't even have the Morocco lineup out yet. We're going to get that in 20 minutes-ish. Joe says, I did just put something out about clean sheet shield, by the way. It might impact your thoughts on forwards or when you play it. What do you mean by that? What, do you put something out on Twitter, Joe? I'll have a look in a minute. But yeah, this is what I'm currently thinking. So I am not particularly bullish. I know I am getting accused of being England biased because I want to keep Harry Kane, but actually I'm kind of open to losing to England. Not really up for losing 3. I know some people want to sell Kane to fund other moves. That's fine. If you want to do that, fine. Kane to Yarthabau, Kane to Cunha. I don't mind these moves. I don't mind these moves at all. Don't have that for me. Beta says, do you think I should use a transfer to change Medina to another Argentinian defender? The problem is, like, who? It's only really Martinez and Romero who I'm, like, super confident about their minutes. So if you don't have Lisandro Martinez, maybe him. If you don't have Romero, maybe him. But Romero is well over 5, right? Romero, 5. Oh, no, he's 4.9. Okay, that's not as bad as it was in my head. I was thinking he was 5.2. But that's still, like, it's a 0.9 upgrade. And you've got to find the 0.9. And unless you are doing things like downgrading Kane, downgrading Yamal, downgrading one of your big premium players, it's going to be kind of difficult to do that, particularly when French players are the priority. So I'm thinking Magnon in. I also, not just Argentina players or Argentina defenders. I feel like getting quad France and Hakimi are the 2 priorities. And I think you just make that happen one way or another. Now, the way I'm going to make that happen is probably something along the lines of this. So Pulisic will come down to someone, and then, can Medina go to Chadi Riyad maybe, or do I just keep Medina? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'd like to keep Medina, I think, because, like, he's such a cheat code at 4 million. Like, it's such good value for money. But if you don't need the money, I mean, a Medina to, like, a Chadi Riyad if he's available, or Salah-Eddin if he's available, I think could be really, really a pretty straightforward sideways move for 1 week, and then you can kind of correct it, bring back an Argentina defender next week. But you kind of want an Argentina defender this week, and if there's a chance Medina plays, probably want him. Yeah, probably want him. But yeah, I know there will be questions. Will Medina play? Yes or no? Who knows? Who knows? The game's in 3 days. He has some cramp issues. He has some fatigue issues. That probably suggests that he is going to have either his role change or his position or his minutes reduced. I don't know, man. Which booster am I using? None. 0 boosters. No boosters. Cucurella against Portugal. I mean, yeah, maybe Cucurella against Portugal. I'm kind of unclear on that, to be honest. I either have to... I've had, like, a few different ways of getting Hakimi in. He's got to either come in for Cucurella or O'Reilly. I'm not super convinced by either of those 2 players, to be honest. So I'm kind of a little unsure which one I'll end up going for. O'Reilly and Diaz, or Medina and Saibari. Maybe Medina and Saibari. If you're happy with the risk with Medina. RLX says, shout out to the only content creator who makes the effort to pronounce players' names properly. I'm kind of inconsistent, but yeah, maybe sometimes. Which boosters do I have left? I have Clean Sheet Shield. I have 12th Man. Is that it? What other boosters are there? Yeah, Clean Sheet Shield and 12th Man. Not 12th Man, sorry. The captain one, which name escapes me. Max Captain. Max Captain, that's it. Cucurella has the most points of any defender. Surely he's the safest option. I never pick players based on points. There's so much more to, particularly this game. Like, look at Cucurella. Been a fantastic, fantastic pick. But he's faced Austria, Uruguay, a disappointing Uruguay, Saudi Arabia, Cape Verde. where's the Portugal? Where, Portugal, I know people have, will have some things to say about Portugal, but they are one of the best teams in the world. One of. And you would imagine with the firepower they have, they would score. They would score against Spain. So it's going to be a slightly different challenge. Slightly different challenge for Cucurella this time. Is Medina injured or no? I have put a Medina injury update around the bottom. I'm going to stop answering this question every 5 minutes. I'll instead answer the Medina question every 15 minutes instead. That's a little bit better. But yeah, this is another option for me. What I could do is take out Medina here and bring in, like I say, Chadi Riyad or Salah-Ad-Din, depending on who plays today. And probably Baena here. He is increasing in ownership. Yeah, and doing something like that. If I take Medina out, this is what I'll do. But if I keep Medina, it will be Cucurella will stay. And probably Dest or O'Reilly will go. Better to avoid USA versus Belgium. I think because that game is so 50-50, that's the most 50-50 game of any of the fixtures this week. This is the one where, bookmakers are really struggling to predict who's going to go through out of USA and Belgium. So as such, I'm not buying any USA. I'm not buying any Belgium. In fact, I'm kind of inclined. If you have no big problems, even selling these players might be an okay idea, to be honest. Why am I not using the clean sheet shield? I did talk about it in a bit of detail in yesterday's video, but maybe I can be convinced to use it still, but I don't think so. I don't think so. Joe, you said you had something written up about. Oh crap! Also, I'm in the middle of a Fusium game. Hang on, let me just sort out my Fusium team first because I meant to make subs. Oh, I'm winning 3-0. That's good. Right, hang on. Once I've sorted this, we'll be back on track. Don't worry. You need to come on. Who else needs to come on? You in for you. And guess you in for... Yeah. Okay. Apologies, guys. Apologies. Right. Let's find Joe's thing. Interesting. I am interested in what other people have to say about the clean sheet shield, but I find myself a little skeptical of it this week. Okay, here we go. Still thinking about clean sheet shield. Given how close most teams' odds of conceding one goal are, it's possible the best week to play is actually when you're attacking. Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what I said in yesterday's video. This is what I was saying yesterday. So, we'll carry on. Clean sheet shield benefits the most from 5 at the back, which blocks 3 forwards, as 5-2-3 isn't allowed in World Cup fantasy, which is what I was saying in yesterday's video. So let's circle back to that. So, looking through my team, and let's say this ends up being my team. Let's look at the fixtures. Which attacker is weak? I mean, some people might say Kane versus Mexico is weak. I don't agree. I think next week, if Kane was to be against Brazil, I think that would be weaker. If Kane is knocked out and I have to go for a weaker forward, I think that would be weaker. Mbappe versus Paraguay is great. Messi versus Egypt is great. The midfielders, Manzambi against Colombia, that's absolutely fine. Bayern against Portugal, absolutely fine. Vinny Jr. against Norway, I think that's for this level, I think that's fine. Double France attack, great. So my attack is still really good. But if we go through to the next round, suddenly, instead of Paraguay, the France attackers are facing Morocco. Where, if you are triple France attack, which you probably will be, in all likeliness, one of your 3 France attackers is going to blank. Because instead of it being a 3-4 goal game, against Paraguay, suddenly it's a 2-goal game, or, 2 goals scored by France against Morocco, for example. So suddenly it's going to be a little bit weaker there. And one of your forwards, one of your attackers from France, in all likeliness, will blank. Spain, I think, are going to be better, to be fair, or just as good in the quarterfinals. So they're not really a problem. Brazil and England, let's just assume these teams are the favourites. But even if you want to throw Mexico in there, Mexico is going to be tougher than Norway. England is going to be tougher than Norway. For England or for Mexico, Brazil is going to be tougher than each other, right? So for the attackers, it's getting harder and harder as we advance through the tournament. For Argentina and Messi, Egypt is going to be an easier fixture than Switzerland or Colombia. So as we progress through the tournament, it gets more and more difficult to get attacking returns, and therefore we may be more and more reliant on the defenders to get a lot of the points. A lot of the points that we want to get. So as such, all in all, I think I am favouring the clean sheet shield in that next match day. But maybe that's partially because of the way my team is set up. And I wonder if, if someone else's team is set up slightly differently, is there, what are we doing? Is there a possibility that for other people, it might kind of work out a little bit differently, and actually, your attack might be weaker this week for some reason? If you're heavily invested in Spain, then you might argue that next match day your fixture will be slightly better. And Spain will be the target next week, by the way. So yes, that is why I'm not using the clean sheet shield. Chase says, I don't think either Belgium or US would win next week against Spain or Portugal anyway. Well, yeah, that's kind of it. That's a big part of it. Yeah. Remove the Spain, remove the USA, remove the Belgium, because they might get eliminated. And even if they don't, what are we honestly expecting from them against Spain or Portugal next match day? Probably not too much. What do you think about the Colombia-Switzerland game? That's probably, for me, again, one of the slightly more difficult fixtures to predict. I would say that we probably think Colombia is the slightly better team than Switzerland. But there's not a huge amount in it. I would still favour some Colombian players. I think, having one Colombian defensive player is going to be, very, very nice. I mean, I believe Colombia have some of the better clean sheet odds. We can verify that. Indeed, they do. So Colombia are actually better than Brazil, better than England. So they have some of the better clean sheet odds, but not the best goal scoring odds, which I think, yeah, that kind of tracks. Opinions on FPL Tom. Good guy. I like Tom. What game were you playing? Well, just before I was playing Fusium, which is outside of fantasy games, my favorite game. I can't lie. It's basically a. Hang on, I'll just post a link. I'll post a link if anyone wants to play it in the chat. Feel free to use that link if you do want to. If you did like the look of that Fusium game, copy and paste that or click it. I think if you use that link, you get some benefits because it's like a referral link. No, this is not an ad, by the way. And yeah, it's basically like Football Manager, but like a online world. So you're facing up against other real managers in like a fictional Football Manager universe. Good fun. It's good fun. But alas, yes, I think, yeah. So going back to Colombia, like their defenders, don't love their attackers as much. 12th man options. It depends what your team is looking like. If you've got the template Kane, Mbappe, Messi, then you maybe look at another forward and you maybe look at a Yarthabal or Cunha. If you haven't got Hakimi and can't find a way to get him in, then maybe you look at Hakimi. If you haven't got one of Elise or Dembele and you want to find a way to get them in, maybe you go for them. Maybe take a risk on someone like Barcola. Maybe Doué. I don't know which one. Honestly, I don't know which one. Is Koundé a good pick? Like, he's fine. He's fine. I mean, I'm struggling to find enthusiasm really around any of the France defenders, which is why I think just going cheap and save points Magnon might be the play, because none of them really have much attacking threat, with the exception of the left back, and the left back changes every week. So I absolutely cannot, in good faith, recommend going for a defender who, even if they play this week, we don't know if they're going to play next week. Vinny as a 12th man. To be fair, if you don't have Vinny and you can't get him in, I don't mind that at all. I quite like it. Rohan ditched FPL Harry the moment I found you, mate. I would love to know why, because usually it's the other way round. What did I do right? I'd love to hear some feedback there. What can we offer here? Molina or Medina? I think if you're buying new, you're probably going for Molina this week. Thoughts on Max Capitano? Max Captain is an interesting idea. It's not the week for it, though. In my opinion. Remember, guys, everything I say is my opinion. It's not the week for it, in my opinion, because there's too many great captain opportunities to switch between. Like, going through the fixtures, if you can get Hakimi, you've got a great captain against Canada immediately. That could easily be 12 or more points. Great. If that doesn't work out, you've got Mbappe. Easily could be 12 or more points. Amazing. If not, you can go to Rafinha, Vinny Jr. Same situation. Easily could be a 12 or more. You go for Harry Kane after that. 12 points is going to be a little bit more tough for him, but it's possible. Portugal, Spain, if you've got a Yarthabal, maybe that's probably the best you're going to get from that fixture. USA, I don't know who even is going to be the best player from that game. If you've got Messi as well. So let's say you have Hakimi, Mbappe, Vinny Jr., and Messi in your team. Those four guys. That's four really clear, good captains with good fixtures. They are going to produce very predictable. What we've seen so far this tournament is they're producing very, very predictable results. And the max captain is the booster that takes the decision making away from you. It helps you in a situation where it's much tougher to make a decision. In the semi-finals round and the final round of the Matchday 8, so Matchday 7 and 8, you are only going to have 2 captain opportunities, because in each of those rounds, there's only going to be 2 games. So those 2 captain opportunities also may not be obvious at all. Because when you're playing a tougher game, the max is sometimes a little bit lower, potentially in the third place playoff game. To be fair, that can have goals galore, but you don't always know who is going to be the big scoring player. You will only have one opportunity to switch, and far more players to kind of miss out on potentially, because you're going to have the same size squad, but with a much smaller captain option pool. But with the max captain, you make your captain pool go from 2 players to 15 instantly. So, I don't know. I feel like the return on investment there in that booster is at its maximum in the semi-final round, and what I prefer, which is the final round, where things can go a bit more crazy. Things often a little cagey in at the semi-finals, as everyone just wants to get to the final. In the final round, we've seen some crazy finals. We saw that last World Cup, Messi and Mbappe going crazy. And then the round of the third place playoff game, often a little crazy. Because it's I don't want to call it a glorified friendly, but it certainly has less jeopardy than near enough any other game in the entire remainder of the tournament. Thoughts on Digne? Sorry, Wasim. I know you're very, very keen to get my thoughts on Digne. He may play this match day, but I have no guarantee that he'll play again in the entire tournament. He has some rotation risk this week, and a lot of rotation risk in the long term. So if you're happy to take a risk on Digne and his minutes, go for it. I personally feel like he is a problem waiting to happen. Maybe the problem will be this week. Maybe it'll be in a later week. But at some point, if you buy Digne, you are going to have a problem with him. Morocco's starting 11 is out. Good to hear. Is it Chadi Riyad or is it Saladin? Let's find out. Where is this? Morocco, Canada. Where are you finding the lineups? Are they actually out? Did I just get trolled? We're just getting predicted right now. We're just getting predicted lineups. We got nothing. Cunha or Yarthabal? Take your pick. I like both. Yeah, we haven't got lineups yet. We've just got predicted. Why is your graphic / screen so blurry? It shouldn't be. Wait, as in this top right bit. It might be because my focus isn't right. That's about the best answer I can offer you. The background should be blurry though because of the focus. It is out on the FIFA website. FIFA website / Twitter. Well, we're on the FIFA website. Let's just go to matches. I forgot they did the lineups here. So is this confirmed? The Fusion rules back in. Cool. Oh, this layout is awful. Ooh, okay. Wait. No Saladin or Chadi Riyad. That may change things. This layout is terrible, man. I need another website to update this, man. FOTMod, please update. I cannot. My eyes just will not register what's going on here. Okay, so how much are you? We got the 3.5 scouting bonus defender. Well, well, well. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Should we keep this one quiet? Guys, everyone in the chat, we are not allowed to talk about Redouane Halhal. We are not to talk about him. We keep this. This is between us now. This is between us. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this. We're going to leave a 3.5 million gap in the team. And we're going to pretend whatever we just saw didn't happen. Everyone back away. Back away very quietly. You didn't see nothing. Nobody saw nothing. He doesn't exist. Hal who? Who? Hal? Who? We saw nothing, okay? We keep this quiet. Snitches get stitches. Because you're going to click that. We're going to pretend he didn't exist. And now we're going to leave a sneaky little 3.5 million space in the team. This is our secret. This is our secret. We cannot have Hal going above 5%. We cannot have it. Anyway. Right. So, okay. This opens things up a little bit. As far as I'm concerned. I think I can now keep Cucurella. And let's go Hakimi. And can I keep O'Reilly? Okay, then that's not going to be possible. Okay, if I keep Dest. Ooh. Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. So, that would be Medina, O'Reilly, Pickford, and Pulisic out. I get to keep Cucurella, and which is nice because I know I'm going to want Cucurella back next week regardless. You have a very sus 3.6 million hole there. I don't know what you're talking about, my friend. That's not a 3.6 million hole. That's my Hal hole. Everyone, can you stop looking at my Hal hole, please? My hole. We don't talk about the Hal hole. Interesting. And that does resolve my potential Medina problem as well. And by the way, the Medina questions are back in. I did say in 15 minutes I'll start answering Medina questions again. He has had fatigue. He had a cramp. And given that the next fixture is in 3 days' time, I do worry about his ability to play what is essentially twice a week. So it would not totally surprise me to see Tagliafico come back in. And it's basically a case of risk. I mean, the alternative is... I just want to keep trying things out for a second. So if I went Hakimi, transferred you out. Yeah, so this is kind of back where we started. Let's keep playing for a moment. Let's just keep playing around because I want to kind of figure out what we can open up essentially. Ugh. That's a frustrating 0.1 million short. Medina should be fine. Is that wishful thinking? I really want Medina to be fine because he's an absolute cheat code and he solves so many problems. But like, we have to be honest with ourselves. He is a problematic pick right now. You prefer Magnon rather than any other France defender? Yeah, I think so. I mean, I could maybe be tempted by Upamecano, but it's an extra 0.3 million, and I don't think you really see any benefits to that extra 0.3, unless he gets an attacking return, of course, which perhaps changes things. I mean, we can have a look. I mean, let's just we can try things out. So basically, that's not going to be possible. So I need to free up 1.2. It's just not going to happen. Yeah, so that's not going to happen for me. Upamecano, Koundé would probably be the ones I would go for, if any, but when you have Magnon for 5 million, I do think you just go for him. Yeah, okay. So we're 0.1 short. The only other way is if we can find a 5.9 midfielder that might work. I'm going to go price and midfielders only, who I might like more than Baena, but I doubt it, to be honest. I've been struggling with the cheap midfielders a little bit. Hakimi or Saibari. Hakimi is like the biggest... The first thing you need to do with your transfers is get 4 France players and Hakimi. That's the real priority. Quad France and Hakimi. After that, everything else is luxurious. Very, very luxurious. I do like Saibari, by the way, as well. But I don't know if I want to go triple Morocco. Just because it causes extra issues next match. And I don't want extra issues next match, to be honest. So let's look through some of these 5.9 or less options. Not really seeing anything that I like the look of, to be honest. You don't play, do you? No. There's not really anything here. Manzambi is just a cheap guy, isn't he? He's the cheap guy. Yeah, Bayern is pretty much the only one I'd be willing to go for. Okay. Okay. So we're kind of back where we were. Which is potentially, hang on. Hakimi. Which is no Pickford. Yes, Vargas. Which again, I'm just not massively convinced by that. I would rather, I just wish my best goalkeeper started second. But like in all likeliness, Magnon keeps a clean sheet and I'm not going to need Vargas, which would solve a lot of headaches for me. It would solve a lot of headaches. So then that just brings us to the final transfer. It doesn't. It doesn't. Because then we basically need to choose 2 of Dest, O'Reilly, and Medina to remove. That's where we're at. So 2 of Dest, O'Reilly, and Medina are going to go. Barcola or Pulisic? To buy or sell? Definitely wouldn't be buying Pulisic, I don't think. The game is too tight for USA. Barcola, if you want to take a risk on Barcola, fair enough. But why Hakimi over Saibari if Saibari collected more points with the difference in the tournament? I actually don't know who has scored more points between the 2 players. I don't imagine there's much in it. Oh, there is a fair amount in it, to be fair. Look, Hakimi, that's a bigger points difference than I thought. Hakimi has been massive, and if you've watched Hakimi much this tournament, he has been massively unfortunate not to score more. And there's no doubt that his ceiling is higher than Saibari's. It really is. He is the corner taker, free kick taker, possibly penalty taker. I know some people saying Diaz. One of Diaz or Hakimi will take the penalty, perhaps depending on who's on the pitch. And he's got great clean sheet odds as well there. The second best clean sheet odds of the entire match day. So as such, I think Hakimi just has the higher ceiling. Diaz penalty, yeah, like so what I just said then. What's the hype around O'Reilly? Is there hype around O'Reilly? I don't know where the hype is. I mean, I have him in my team. That wouldn't necessarily mean that I'm hyped on him. He's just like reasonably good value for money if you think England are going to do well. There's obviously some new people in the chat who have discovered a certain 3.5 million midfielder. Have you just arrived? I'm not using any boosters this match, no. What about Romero as a 12th man? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Versus Mexico will be tough. There's no easy games at this stage of the tournament. Any love for Pepe for 1 week? I mean, you could do. You could do. If you are really, really trying to go cheap, then I guess so. But I do think I prefer, if you are a Kane hater, which there seems to be a few of, I do think I would prefer to go for Cunha or Ayarthabal. Plus, you get potentially more than 1 week out of them. Okay, well, look, let's see my Saibari routes here. Do I have Saibari routes? So my Saibari routes would be... Is this possible? No. Okay, what about this way? Yes. Okay, so that would be my Saibari route. Oh, no. 0.4. Different. Oh wait, no, I could keep O'Reilly here instead of Dest. Wait, sorry. O'Reilly come back. Hakimi come in. Yeah. So that would be my Saibari route, but it would mean triple Morocco. And whilst I do think Morocco could do very well this week, I'm just not totally convinced about next match day, and I feel like I need to be thinking a little bit about the future here. Plus, I lose Cucurella as well. So I make my team worse for next match day, but better now. I guess that's just like a personal preference thing, though, isn't it? Like, what do you prefer? The points now or the points later? My issue is always with the quarterfinal round in these fantasy games is the quarterfinal round is always an absolute nightmare for transfers. As soon as you get to that kind of stage of the tournament, right now it feels like we have more transfers than we know what to do with. But for the quarterfinals and the semifinals, it's going to flip the opposite way. And we're going to find we're not going to have enough transfers to do everything we want. So just a tiny bit of planning for the future could go a very, very long way. Where are we here? I'm so confused. Right, let's do this again. So it would be Pickford to Magnon. I think this is probably where I'm going to end up, to be honest. So Pickford to Magnon. Pulisic to Baena. O'Reilly to Hakimi. And then it'll be either Dest or Medina out. And I wonder if the smart move here is actually Medina out. And doing this. This is what I'm currently thinking is probably the way that best balances this week and next week as well. It is a shame to lose an Argentina defender, particularly one I really, really want, but I just cannot be convinced by his minutes at all. So something like that, I think is going to work for me. But anyway. Yeah, I know exactly who I can afford in that slot. I know exactly who can go in there. But we're trying to keep a certain player's ownership below 5%. Come on, guys. I like your thoughts on Medina, but it's hard to make a team without him. I totally agree, Adam. I totally agree. I really want Medina in my team because it solves so many problems. It really does. But I just don't think I'm in the business of playing that game. Like, the first priority is, particularly if Medina was playing one of the first few games of the match day, it changes everything. But because Argentina are not playing until the penultimate game, I'm basically going to be in a situation where if Medina doesn't play, what alternatives do I have? How many points would you take for your captain to stay your captain? Probably 12, just a standard 12. I like that as a barometer. Maybe even now. Who am I kidding? 12. If Hakimi gets 12, I'm sticking. If then Mbappe gets 12, I'm sticking. Is Freeman a good pick? Not really a player I'm super interested in. I'm not interested in buying any Belgium or USA new. Why buy in? Is he good? Yeah, pretty good. He looks to have locked down that left wing position for Spain, and Portugal, of course, do have some fragilities right now. Mazraoui, he starts 0.6 owned. Oh, but isn't Mazraoui like a little bit? Yeah, 4.4 million. I feel like that's not the greatest of value for money for Mazraoui. What I'll probably do, and this is how I'll kind of figure things out, is if I take Medina out now, go for the secret guy, and then next match day I'll probably look, as long as there's not too many upsets, I'll probably look to do Hakimi and, well, basically double Morocco defense out and replace them with probably one Spain defender and one Argentina defender, depending on what the kind of likely lineups are looking like. Who's the first game actually for next round? Let's look at that. The next round, first game is 9th of July, and it's going to be France versus Morocco. That's not very helpful because France are pretty easy to predict. Well, aside from their fullback situation, to be fair, I don't know. I probably won't want to touch that even next time. What booster am I using? None. I'm not using a booster, guys. I'm not using a booster. I'm going to save it for next match day. As an Egyptian, I offer you Mo Hani with the remaining cash. I don't know, man. It's a tough fixture against Argentina. It's a tough fixture. Thought Trossard or Bruno G. If I had to pick one, I would choose Bruno G, mostly because I'm more confident of Bruno G progressing to the next round. I'm not saying that Trossard won't, but if you were on 12th man, who would you choose? In my team setup, I would maybe go a Yarthabal. Can Max Captain be moved to another player? If you play your Max Captain booster, the captain is just going to automatically be placed on whoever scores the most points. So at the end of the match day, or actually someone who's used the Max Captain might be able to verify this. It's either every time a new player in your team is now the top scoring player, your captain continues to move to whoever has the most points. It's either that, or at the end of the match day, it looks at all your players and just throws the captain's armband on whoever scored the most points. So regardless, if you use your max captain, you don't need to think about captain. Should I use unlimited transfers in match day 5? My suggestion would be that you probably don't need a wild card this match day. You shouldn't need a wild card this match day. Your team should be reasonably well set up. But I think maybe the quarter-final rounds, maybe semi-final rounds, things might change. Oh, Mohani scored 2 own goals. Oh, he did, didn't he? Yeah. When to use shield? It's up to you. I think my opinion is to use your clean sheet shield whenever your attack is at its weakest. Whilst your attack still has lots of really nice fixtures, or at least decent fixtures, then you're probably going to want to play attack-heavy formations. Whereas on your clean sheet shield match day, you're more likely to be using like 5 at the back formations. And I think there's only one 5 at the back formation, which is 5-3-2, right? So basically, a week like this, there's too many good attacking opportunities. Next match day, I do prefer because I feel like there's likely to be slightly fewer good attacking opportunities. I think what I'll do next week is go in on Spain, to be honest, if they get through. Or maybe Portugal get through. Tell you what, if Portugal get through, we might find ourselves in some degree of problems. But this is what I'm saying. When upsets happen, it can start to screw things. And it will happen. It will happen this round. There will be a team that gets beaten that you weren't expecting. Do I think Medina starts? My head is telling me no. My head is telling me no, unfortunately. I want him to. Don't get me wrong. But my head is telling me no. Oh, by the way, guys, I probably should do a like reminder. If you haven't left a like on the stream so far, please do. How many likes are we on? And can we do better? That's the big question. And we've got 131 likes. And we've got 1,400 people watching. I feel like we can do a little bit better. I feel like we could do... I feel like we can get to 500 likes during this stream. I think that's reasonable. I don't want to be too greedy. But I feel like we can do that. Hi, mate. Is clean sheet shield worth it now? We did just speak about that, but maybe we'll go over it. I'll go over it very briefly again now. Maybe we'll talk about it in like half an hour or something. But if your attack is bad, clean sheet shield is worth it. If your attack is good, clean sheet shield is not worth it. I think that's the simple answer. Do you think Dembele is necessary? For me to get him, I need to remove either Kane or Yamal. Yeah, for me, unless you have other big problems in your team, I would happily sacrifice Kane or Yamal in order to get Dembele, yeah. Hayden says, who to replace Medina with, Molina or Digne? I guess Molina. Look, if people want to go for Digne, fine, but just be prepared for problems at some point. Maybe it'll be this week, maybe it'll be next week, maybe it'll be the week after. Digne will cause you problems in your fantasy team at some point, so I can't recommend him. Sani says, chip strategy for max captain, 12th man clean sheet. Oh, you want me to give you a chip strategy? It depends what your team looks like, but if it's anything like mine, I'd probably go 12th man this week, clean sheet shield next week, and max captain in Matchday 8. Martin says it's what do you want me to say? Digne? His name is Dean. Dean? I don't know, I'm not French. Thankfully. How many transfers can I roll? None. Was max captain a good option this week if chasing rank? No. I think it doesn't matter. Everyone has access to the max captain, so just use it when it will gain the most points. Gaining rank now and losing it again later doesn't benefit you in any way. So no, I don't think so, Ben. Will Medina play? Yes, the usual question. Who knows? I think it's more likely that he won't. Thoughts on Yamal to Dembele, Sanchez to Douglas Santos? Yamal to Dembele, I think, makes sense. Sanchez to Douglas Santos. Is there a better defender to go for this week? Look through the clean sheet odds. And it suggests that France, Argentina, Morocco, and Colombia are all better defenses to invest in. Let me close this down. Yeah. Virtual says, just wanted to say thanks because I would be absolutely hopeless at World Cup Fantasy without your videos. You are welcome, my friend. I'm happy to help. How many transfers do we get next week? Next week, we're going to get 5? No, 4. 4. Yeah. 4. We get 4 next week. I promise you, it's not going to feel like enough. So trying to get ahead of the game a little bit and not backing yourself into too much of a corner, I think is wise. Same forwards as you. Who would you use 12th man? If you have Elise and Dembele and Vinny already, then I would probably go for a Yarthabal. I think that's where I would go. Random questions. Does the third place game count for game week 8? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So there's going to be 2 games in match day 8. Sell O'Reilly or Dest for Hakimi? Well, the odds suggest that O'Reilly is the better pick than Dest. So I guess budget dependent for a little bit. Well, but that, to be fair, that is clean sheet odds. For attacking potential, Dest is definitely higher. What is your chip strategy for the rest of the way? Okay, so I'm pretty sure, I don't want to lock anything in, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to use my clean sheet shield next round in the quarterfinals, and I'm going to use my max captain in the final. I'm pretty sure. Pull Kit Chabra says, any tips on how to decide the clean sheet booster when to play? I have USA, Canada goalkeepers, Cucurella, Martinez, Ta, Consa, Munoz. Also, can you roll transfers? You can't roll transfers as far as we know. Obviously, you need to replace Ta. Looking at that team, I don't know, because this is the thing, and this is what I keep saying. Whether you or not you play your clean sheet booster has more to do with your attackers than your defenders. If your attack looks great, then you're not going to need your defenders. In a week in the future where your attackers will struggle slightly more, then that's a better time to use the clean sheet booster. So for me, I know I'm talking about this every 5 minutes. Between clean sheet booster and Medina, it's pretty much all we're talking about in today's stream, isn't it? Oh no, terrible. But between this week and next week, I think I slightly favour the clean sheet shield. Generally speaking, I prefer the clean sheet shield next match day. Generally. Thoughts on Mazraoui and DePaul? I don't really like any Argentina attacker outside of Messi. It is the Messi show over there. Thoughts on Mazraoui? A little more expensive than I'd like him to be, is my answer. The Medina questions are back. But I mean, Mazraoui's fine. Like I like the Morocco defense generally. But Mazraoui, I don't know. I wish he was a little cheaper. Is Medina available? He has a cramp issue. That is his problem. He has got cramp. Do I know if he'll play? I don't. The game is in 3 days' time. There really is no way of us to know. If that worries you, remove him. If you're fine with it, you're fine with the risk, keep him. Because Argentina's defense against Egypt, I like it. We got another super chat here. Bellingham and Oyarzabal or Kane and a midfielder for 6.2 or less. If so, which 6.2 or less midfielder? Already have Baena, maybe Tielemans. I guess. Do you need Bellingham? Oyarzabal's arguably just as good as Kane this week. Arguably. Maybe that's an exaggeration. I don't know. There's not much in it, though. So, gut tells me go for Oyarzabal. But I don't know if you need Bellingham necessarily. I don't think I would be buying Bellingham. Like, if your budget's around 8, could you take a punt on, Bradley Barcola? Maybe? 3 or 4 French players? 4 if possible. Is this my final team? It's only 14 players. So I hope not. I hope this is not my final team. Otherwise, I'll be playing with slightly fewer players than the crowd. Should I sell Malik Tillman? Got 15 points from it. I wouldn't look at how many points the player got you when deciding whether to keep them. I'd look at the performances and the fixtures. But yeah, I'd be reasonably happy to sell Tillman if I had spare transfers. Thank you very much, by the way, for the super chats, guys. Massively appreciated. Does help support the channel, of course. So big shout out to all of you guys throwing in your questions that way. Thunderous says there are statistics saying that the further we go into the World Cup, there are slightly higher chances of conceding 2+ goals based on last World Cup performances. And that's a small sample size. And how much of that was kind of influenced by the final and the third place playoff? Let's look at World Cup 2024 results, I guess. Because remember, FIFA World Cup. Remember, we're not picking all of the rounds next. We're looking at wait, there was no 2020. What am I talking? 2022. Because we only need to pick one round. So in the final, yeah, there was a big 3-3. Third place playoff, 2-1. So goals there. Semi-finals, Argentina. You know, to be fair, look at the games as well. Look at the games. But quarterfinals, and this is where we're kind of looking. So Netherlands-Argentina was 2-2. Croatia-Brazil was 1-1. So you would have got your clean sheet off there. If you went for France against England, you would have got your clean sheet points there. If you went for Portugal against Morocco, you would have got your points there. If you went for... I mean, that's something else. Round of 16. A lot of teams only conceded 1 goal there. But I don't know. I think the third place playoff, I think that's valid. And I think there's enough historical basis to say that. Remember, this is just a sample size of 1 World Cup, which I wouldn't personally pay any attention to. It's not enough data. And particularly given the particular fixtures that we saw, Argentina versus Croatia, France versus Morocco, these were fairly, I don't want to say, they were David and Goliaths, really, weren't they? Both of them. So, I don't know. I'm going to choose not to read into that at all. Army Ramadan, thank you for the super sticker. Tabido says Lissandro or Munoz. Lissandro is the safer pick, but I already have Molina, and it's so fun to watch Munoz. Mine says Lissandro, Heart says Munoz. Well, I think what I would be thinking, and I'm going to put my sensible hat on because I kind of have to, Tabido. We have to think about more than one round. Lissandro against Egypt, great. Lissandro against either Switzerland or Colombia in the following round, also great. Munoz against Switzerland, okay, not bad. Not as good as for clean sheet wise, it's not as good, but it's okay. But Munoz against Argentina next round, terrible. So the clear, obvious answer to me is Martinez. I get it's the boring one. I get it's the functional answer. But we have to... Next round is going to be a nightmare. Next round is going to be a nightmare. Your team is not going to be perfect for next round. It is impossible to get your team perfect next round. That is just the way these games typically work. Because you have a lot of teams knocked out. A lot of teams with unfavourable fixtures in the quarterfinals. And you will not have... You will only have 4 free transfers to deal with it. So trying to plan ahead a little bit, I think, is wise. Couple more super chats here. Thanks, guys. Rage says, forgot to do a qualification booster last week. Should I activate it this week? I think so. If you've got a lot of players you're confident will qualify, and just looking at Joe's website again. So if you're kind of mostly on France, Argentina, Morocco, Brazil, Spain. So mostly on those top 5 teams. Great. If you've got a tiny bit of Colombia and England, okay, fine. If you've got anything below that, I would begin to worry. But yeah, if you are using the qualification booster, that should influence your transfers a little bit. And, you know, you should be focusing on removing players lower down this list and buying players from higher on this list, from teams higher on this list. Super chat from Hayden, who says Yamal to Dembele or Medina to Molina. I think, honestly, first priority for Matchday 5 is quad France. If that means selling Yamal this week, it means selling Yamal this week, I'm afraid. Army Ramadan comes back in and says Kane or Vinny for 12th man. If I had to choose, I would choose Vinny out of those 2 guys. I would choose Vinny Jr. Have we got any updates on this? We got did we get a final update a couple of hours ago? Lots of players losing their bonus eligibility. Trossard no longer going to get scouting bonus. Bono's no longer going to get scouting bonus. Interesting. Saibari definitely won't, will he? Saibari is the one player, by the way, I wish I had. Any news on Riyadh playing for Morocco? Yeah, no, he's not playing, man. Let's just refresh this. These are your lineups for Canada versus Morocco. Yamal or Yarthabal as 12th man. I would prefer a Yarthabal. I just think he has more threat. So yeah, just scrolling down a little bit here as well. It is no Chadi Riyadh. Is he even on the bench? Presumably he is. It wasn't a big injury, was it? And he was back in training. So yeah, there you go. So that's the Morocco confirmed lineup. Looking good. 12-man Hakimi. I don't mind 12-man Hakimi, to be fair. What's wrong with taking a -3? You can, and you may well need to. You may well need to. As always, for those asking for a final team from me, you're not getting one. You're not getting one. By the way, literally, guys, every single day when I'm making my subs, my captain switches, I am never doing it this early. Because what if a player picks up an injury in the warm-up? And I know that sounds so stupid, but these are the kind of edges that make the difference in a fantasy format that is this short. A player getting injured in the warm-up could make a big difference. It doesn't happen very often, but it will happen at some point in this tournament to someone. How consequential that is, I don't know. But yeah, I'm never going to lock in anything this early. There's no point. Who does it benefit? It doesn't benefit anyone. It doesn't benefit for me because I want to make moves with maximum information. It doesn't benefit the YouTube channel. Because if I lock my team in now, or if I lock my team in 2 hours ago, then a lot of people would just look at that team, copy paste it, and leave the stream. And actually damage the YouTube channel, damage FPL Mate in the algorithm of YouTube. So I make my team worse, my YouTube channel suffers. Then we have, the copy paste managers who are essentially stinking up mini leagues. Let's be honest, they do. I can't stop people from copying my team, but the people who are, using, you're kind of making their own teams and stuff and trying to do their own research and stuff, they hate copy paste managers. So those people in mini leagues, they're suffering as well. Who wins, man? Damage the algorithm, WTF. Badge, I'm sorry, man. YouTube is literally my only job. It is very important that my YouTube channel stays high up in the algorithm and a successful YouTube channel. If the YouTube channel dies, I stop making videos completely because I need to go find another job. Why not Saibari, man? I would love to have Saibari. I would love to have him. But yeah, I just can't find a way to fit him in a way that I'm happy with. I think my defense needs more work in Matchday 5 than my attack. If I had an attacker I was unhappy with, that would maybe change things a little bit. I also don't want to overload on Morocco. There are ways of me getting Saibari in, but I just don't want to overload on Morocco too much because I think it will create problems next week. So love Saibari for this week, but unfortunately, I don't know, man. I just feel like I need to keep half an eye on this match day, half an eye on next match day as well. Kind of looking both ways. Are you going to use any booster this match day? No, but I'm reasonably sure I'm going to use my clean sheet shield next match day. Who would be your 12th man? In this squad, a Yarthabal would be my 12th man. 12-man Haaland, a good option? Not really one I'd be considering personally. Bayona and Dest or Manzambi and O'Reilly. There's not much in it, to be fair. I think I prefer Bayona and Dest just because I think the combo of Bayona and Dest probably has a slightly better outlook for next match day. And qualifying for next match day. Who to captain, Saibari or Hakimi? My preference is Hakimi, mostly because he's higher risk, higher reward, and I think your first captain of the match day, you can afford to take a bit of a risk, a bit more of a risk. No French defenders? I'm going to go for Magnon. I'm going to go for Magnon as my French defender. 8PH says, go find a real job, bro. What are you doing? This isn't an actual job. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Do you think these graphics magically appeared on the screen? They just appeared there. You know, you are consuming content. Someone's got to make it. Someone has to make the content that you consume. Do you turn on the TV and say, TV presenters, get a real job, man? Someone's got to make that. Quinones or Cunha? Oh, definitely Cunha. Maybe my England bias is showing, though. Is Molina a good option? He's not bad. He's not bad. Baena or Manzambi? I prefer Baena just because I think he's more likely to qualify into the next round. And you're going to get multiple match days out of him. Don't listen to the haters. People saying I'm not listening to the haters. I'm honestly mocking the haters because they quite clearly do not know what they're talking about and talking absolute rubbish. Saibari or Yarthabal? Now that's an interesting point. If you're going to captain Hakimi, Saibari as a 12th man is not the worst idea. I still think I would edge towards a Yarthabal though. But no, that's also a really good suggestion. Really, really good suggestion. Never retire, Dan. Okay, well, you've got to promise to keep on watching the videos, and then I will never retire, truly. Medina isn't injured, by the way. I know he's not, but he is fatigued. And that is of some concern to me. Like, some people are going to keep him and take the risk. I just don't think I can. It's concerning to me. Oh, yes, like reminder. Thank you, Abdullah. Like reminder, guys. We're shooting for 500 likes in today's stream. If we can manage that, that would be absolutely amazing. So thank you, guys. I have double defense from England. Is it okay? I'm not hugely enthusiastic about it, to be honest. Hi, mate. Would you do Hakimi and Brahim Diaz or Koundé and Saibari? Oh, that's tough, you know. That's really tough. Oh, honestly, mate, I'd flip a coin. That's a really tough question. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer there. I'm stuck between Doué or Barcola. Okay, so yeah, an update on Doué versus Barcola. And by the way, if you are to buy one of them, I think it is a 1 week punt. Because I think whoever plays this match day probably gets rotated the following match day. But the French press seem to prefer Barcola this week. So I don't know. Make of that what you will. He is a little more expensive at 8 million for Barcola. But it's okay. Rage says, go 3.5 million halal and see if you can bring in Saibari. I can bring in Saibari. I have tried it out. Early in the stream, I was doing some testing of some various combinations, and I can afford Saibari. And I really like Saibari, but I don't want to overload on Morocco. That's my thing. I don't want to overload on Morocco. If I have tripled Morocco against France in match day 6, then that's 3 out of 4 of my transfers already gone. And if there's any upsets, and there, you know, by the way, I have Vargas versus Colombia. Vargas versus Manzambi as well. So one of them's going to have to be transferred out. I'm already guaranteed to have one player not playing and one transfer I have to make next match day. And then I want to add 3 Morocco players to that on top of other kind of optimization of my team, excluding any upsets we might face. I mean, Serginho Dest could very much be knocked out. England could very well be knocked out. Even Spain could. So it's not worth the risk for me. Indran says, my defensive Riyad, Hakimi, Medina, Martinez, Dest. My midfield and my attack, same as you. My 12th man I'm using is Cristiano. What do you think, mate? I think that there may be some personal bias creeping in if you're choosing Cristiano Ronaldo against Spain. To be 100% honest, I like that team generally. Riyadh is obviously a problem because Riyadh isn't playing. Everything else looks fine. Okay, say Riyadh is definitely not playing. Medina might not play. So you're going to be a little limited in terms of your defenders potentially there. I certainly wouldn't be playing the clean sheet shield. And 12th man, I think I would choose someone else. A Yarthabal, maybe. Is Hal an okay pick? I mean, he's playing for a strong defense with a good fixture, and he's very cheap. So, yes, he is. Does 12th man contribute to the max 4 players? No, it doesn't. Doesn't count. Does Morocco keep a clean sheet today? Let me answer that question. 41% chance. 41% chance of that happening. Sell Cucurella to buy again next round. That was my original plan. That was my original plan, to sell Cucurella and bring him back next round. Cucurella to Hakimi, then Hakimi back to Cucurella. I do like that. I do like that. Isn't Cunha better than Yarthabal for a 12th man? I don't know there's much in it. I keep changing my mind between Cunha and a Yarthabal. Currently, I think I prefer a Yarthabal. Do I do Brahim Diaz and Konsa, or take a hit and get Saibari and a Brazil defender? Is there not another cheaper defender you can get? So you can get Saibari and an even cheaper defender? There's got to be some options out there, right? No chips for me this week, guys, just to reiterate that one. Srijan says, started watching your videos from 2021. Have always loved your buy, sell, keep, sell concept. Your first video I watched was one of them as well. Oh, nice one, man. That's a long time to be watching FPL, mate. That's a very long time. So what's this going to be your sixth year watching coming up? Crazy. Crazy. Is Elise, Dembele, Mbappe and Barcola worth it? Barcola, if you fancy a risk, go for it, man. If you do fancy a little Barcola risk, by all means. But it is risky. Saibari or Hakimi captain, says Kalouf. I prefer Hakimi because I feel like he's more high risk, high reward. So we go high risk, high reward with Hakimi. Maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. And then we go again. If it doesn't work out, we go again with Mbappe later on this evening. That is this evening, right? Yeah. What an evening of football, by the way. Canada, Morocco, Paraguay, France. Arguably, tomorrow is even better. Brazil and Norway, and then Mexico and England. You know what? I'm looking through these fixtures. They're all amazing. How lucky are we to live in an era where the World Cup is a thing? What were people doing with their summers 150 years ago? Not this. Wow. What an absolute joy. Absolute joy. Is Pulisic to Saibari for a -3 worth it? I don't know, man. I don't know. Go outside? Joke's on you. I've been watching some of these games outside. Touching grass. Yeah, overrated. When your hay fever is as bad as mine, touching grass is a non-option. It's so much worse this year as well. Oh, well, particularly over the last week. Hay fever's going crazy. Keep me inside, please. And I've not really been inside either. I've been outside way too much, which is probably part of the problem. Is Medina fit? He is. He's fit. Technically. Would you prefer Bellingham or Vinny Jr.? Vinny Jr. this week, yeah, for sure. Is it worth taking a -3 from Yamal to Dembele? Oh, that's a tough one. Would I do it? Probably not. Is it worth it? Maybe. Make of that what you will. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. -3s are always really difficult to talk about. And there is a very good chance if you're taking hits for players and if you're swapping good players for other good players, there is every chance you're going to find that you are disappointed with the result. Very, very good chance. These are the kind of moves that have a high probability of going wrong. So I'm not super confident about making a recommendation there where it could go wrong either way. Is 4 Morocco too much? Definitely. Definitely. Because you're going to run into a big problem next match day when you're quad Morocco against France. And with only 4 transfers to fix it. What about Teo/Dean for scouting bonus? If you want to, but you're taking a big risk, not just this week, but for all subsequent weeks. You're creating problems, and that's not something I'm going to be doing. A few chip-related questions. I'm not personally using any boosters this match day. I'm going to save. I just feel we'll talk about it again briefly. I just feel that if you're using a clean sheet shield, you need to be using it on a week where you feel you are going to be more dependent on your defenders than your attackers. For this match day, I feel very confident that Elise, Dembele, Mbappe against Paraguay, Vinny Jr. against Norway, Kane against Mexico, Messi against Egypt, even to an extent Bayona and Manzambi against Portugal and Colombia. I'm pretty happy with my attack. I think there is plenty of opportunities for my attackers to do very well this match day. Next match day, I'm looking at a similar team, and I think the chances of getting attacking returns next match day are just that little bit lower. So I feel like next match day, I'll be slightly more reliant on my defenders than my attackers to get points. So giving my defenders that coverage, I feel would be more beneficial for me next match day rather than this match day. So to summarize, if your attack looks good, you probably don't need to use a clean sheet shield and therefore rely on your defenders. But if your attack looks bad and you're unhappy with your attackers this match day, then actually, maybe you will rely on your defenders more, and therefore giving them that clean sheet shield might be the play. So that's my opinion. And remember, guys, if you play with a five defender formation, there is only one, and it's 5-3-2. So if you play with 5 defenders, or end up playing with 5 defenders, you are going to have to bench one of your forwards at some point during the match day. You have to. Paul Kitch Chabra again with the super chat says, team, didn't you already post this? I don't know. Team USA, Canada goalkeepers: Cucurella, Martinez, Konsa, Munoz, Pulisic, Trossard, Dembele, Elise, Vinny, Messi, Ayala, Mbappe. Tips on transfers: sell sell Pulisic, try and get Hakimi in, try and get another France player in. Maybe a France defender. I'll try and buy Hakimi and a France defender / goalkeeper. Those would be my top priorities. And with that team, I would not be looking to use the clean sheet booster. I'd maybe think about Pulisic to Saibari as well. There you go. There's some tips for you, my friend. Gehi to Cucurella. I don't think I'd buy Cucurella this week necessarily. I'd wait one more week and buy him next week if he's still in the competition. Yamal down to Bayona is okay. Only if you're funding another move. Bayona or Manzambi. I prefer to buy, if you're buying one, I prefer Bayona because I think he's got a better chance of progressing further into the tournament and being useful for your fantasy team for multiple match days going into the future. Whereas Manzambi, actually odds off. Colombia odds on to beat Switzerland. So in all likeliness, Manzambi will need to be a transfer out for a lot of people next match day. Rage says, then again, easier matches this week, so more likely to concede 1 goal or less in regards to clean sheets. I I guess, but like that goes both ways, because you could all, if you're saying that, oh, they're easier matches this week, so more likely to concede less goals, then that also means that you're more likely to get clean sheets without needing the clean sheet shield, you know? Is Hakimi mandatory instead of a French defender? No, not mandatory at all. Not mandatory at all. But if you can try and get both, I would. Chocolate Lovin says, what do we think about taking hits this game week? You shouldn't need to. You shouldn't need to. Really. You could. But honestly, I don't know. I don't really see the need. Like, I don't know. I think, again, with hits, like, these are luxury hits as well. If you want to make luxury hits, that's kind of got to be your decision, because it has just as much chance as going wrong as going right. And what I don't want is me saying, what would I do? I'd probably go this way. I'd probably do this. And it going wrong. And then you come back to me and say, Dan, you told me to do this. And it's all gone wrong. How dare you? Which happens all the time. So when it's one of those decisions where there isn't really a right answer, I don't feel super confident telling you what to do. Go with your gut. I'm more than happy to, when I feel like there is a fairly obvious, or, you know, I'm strongly leaning one way or the other, more than happy to give my opinion on stuff. But when there's not much in it, I'll just tell you there's not much in it. You've got to go in with your gut. Top 5 sub 7 midfielders. Baena, you know, maybe even Pulisic. Baena, Bruno Guimaraes, Saibari, of course. There's 3. Would we still throw Manzambi in there? I'm not sure. Not sure about Manzambi in there. I don't know. Those are 3. I feel like it's probably a bit of a gap between those 3 and then the 4th one. So hopefully 3 is going to be enough. Will Riyadh play? Riyadh is already confirmed not playing. Kalouf says, max captain or qualification booster this week? For me, neither. If I had to pick one, I would prefer to use qualification booster, because I feel max captain is more beneficial later in the tournament. I also think qualification booster is more... Oh, wait, qualification... Oh, sorry, I was thinking clean sheet shield. Oh, in that case, no-brainer qualification booster over max captain. Is Medina playing? We don't know. We won't find out for another 3 days. He's not injured, but he is fatigued, and he is struggling with cramp, which worries me a little bit when he's got to play again fairly soon. Why Baena over Saibari? Only because I don't want to overload on Morocco, because I'm trying to think a little bit longer term in my moves. Is Hal worth it? Scouting bonus, cheap, playing for a team that has got a high chance of a clean sheet, or at least a decent chance, 41% chance of a clean sheet. Is it worth it? Yes. Yes, but be prepared to transfer him out again next match day. That's what I will say there. What do you think about Luis Suarez? Not really interested. Is Medina going to play? We don't know. The game is in 3 days. There's no way of answering that question now. If I had to guess, I'm like 50-50. And 50-50 is not good enough for me, but it might be good enough for some others. Birides is back. Welcome, my friends. Not seen you in a while. Actually, I think you may have even been in last stream, but not in this one. Consa / Medina X Mins. Consa probably fine. Medina 50-50. I own Vargas and need the funds sideways to Manzambi or Saibari. Pulisic. Oh, there's a lot of rogue names in here. So you've got Vargas, Pulisic, and Trossard. I mean, I would happily lose all of Vargas, Pulisic, and Trossard. I don't think there's much in it with those players, really. So maybe it's just a case of selling whoever is the most expensive. The problem with Switzerland is they are odds on to actually get knocked out of the tournament this round. So be aware of that. If you are trying to plan for the future a little bit, Switzerland players, USA players, Belgian players, none of them are really your friends. So anyone could realistically go. It could be that a restructuring midfield is the priority. I don't know if that answers that question. Oh, how? Yeah, good value for money. Rob says, I have Shobir and Martinez goalkeeper hit to get one out. Why do we need to remove Martinez? Definitely wouldn't remove Martinez. Shobir, I wouldn't take a hit to remove. I'll just play with one goalkeeper. Just play with Martinez. He looks good. Douglas Santos or Spence for Hal. What do you think? Oh, no. If you've got Douglas Santos or Spence already, I wouldn't make that move just for the sake of it. It should be a funding move. It should be a funding move. Like, the reason you go for the super cheap players is to try and fund other things rather than, you know, doing it for fun, I guess. Would you do a -3 for Yamal to Dembele straight swap? Would I wouldn't. I don't know. I wouldn't find myself in a situation where I would need to do that. I know that's probably not the answer you want to hear, but I don't know, because I would never find myself in that situation, I don't think. I honestly don't know. It can go wrong either way. Pick your poison. Pick your poison. You lose either way. You could potentially win either way. Jackie G says, are you hiding your potential final transfer because he might have scouting bonus? Actually, there's a lot of people in the stream who do know my final transfer, but yes. Yes, I am. There's no benefit to me just showing it now. There's no benefit to me doing it whatsoever. We'll wait. Best 6.1 million mid, not Manzambi. Baina. Baina. Who would be your suggestion for 12th man? Depends who you have. If you don't have Elise or Dembele or Vinny Jr., maybe one of them. If not, maybe a Yarthabal or a Cunha. Hakimi, if you can't easily get to Hakimi, maybe him. Saibari was suggested before, as well as a potential 12th man, which honestly I don't mind. I don't mind that, to be fair. It's not bad. So yeah, there are options, but it kind of depends a lot on what you already have. And that's going to perhaps influence your decision a little bit. Okay. Is Bayern better than Trossard? I don't know if he's better than Trossard necessarily, but I mean, you know, if I had a straight choice between the two, the only motivation to pick Bayern would be that I'm more confident in his inclusion in the competition going forward. Best Medina replacements for one free transfer left. Depends what your budget is, to be honest. But I'd be looking around France, Argentina, and Morocco for a defender, really. If you haven't got for France, I'd look for a French defender, but it depends on your budget. If you're low on budget, then you probably will have to shop around Morocco. Or, you know, Argentina, to be fair. If you don't have Lisandro Martinez, 4.6 million, yeah, I think he's a pretty decent pickup. Are you going to use a chip this round? No. I'm not using any boosters. -3 for Bruno G? That doesn't seem worth it to me. Which French defender? Anyone but the left back would be my... Oh, I don't really like Saliba either as a pick. So Magnon, Upamecano, or Koundé are my preferred French defensive assets. Dembele and Sanchez of Colombia or Barcola and Hakimi? I think Dembele is more important than Hakimi, so I'm going to say Dembele and Sanchez. Black Gear says, I have max captain and clean sheet shield left as my chips. If you were in my position, what chip strategy and why? I would use the clean sheet shield next match day because I think we'll be more reliant on our defenders getting points next match day compared to this match day. And I would use my max captain in the final match day because you get the best value for money because you can only make one captain switch in match day 7 and 8. I do prefer 8 slightly because there's usually more goals, more on display. And, you know, out of 15 players, you are going to get the maximum benefit. So from a max of 2 captains in the final round, you are going to go to a max of essentially 15 captains and it's chosen for you. So you get the biggest benefit there. So hopefully that answers that question. Best mid under 6 million is Baena. Baena's not staying under under 5% selected, is he? Or is he? I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. Good 12-man pick. Depends who you have. A France attacker, Vinny Jr., Oyarzabal, Cunha, Hakimi. Is Medina projected to play? There are no projections because the game is not for another 3 days. I'm 50-50. I can't help you there. I'm not confident, so I'm going to sell him. Bellingham or Vinny Jr.? Oh, easy, Vinny Jr. Is Munoz a good pick? He's fine. He's fine. You will have problems with him if he faces Argentina next round, though. Too risky to have both Hal and Diffusal roles. I mean, do you want Diffusal roles? I don't know. I feel like, yeah, at a certain point, you're kind of backing yourself into a bit of a corner. There is not really a 12-man strategy, I don't think. I would prefer to play it in a week where I feel like I'm missing one of the major assets. And as each week progresses, there are going to be less major assets to miss out on, if that makes sense. Is O'Reilly still starting? I don't see why not. I don't see why not. Best 4.5 million or less. I have Medina and Dest. 4.5 million or less. Probably Hal at this point. Probably. Yeah, so I'll say that. Okay. What else have we got here? I've spoken about the 12-man so every minute there's a new 12-man question. There's a new one. Yeah, I feel like in today's stream, we're streaming for 1 hour 45. I feel like we are going over the same questions, repeating ourselves a little bit. Well, I do apologise to anyone who has been sticking around to the stream for a while. You may have found today has been a little repetitive. I can only apologise, my friends. I can only apologise. So, we've got a nice big £20 super chat. That's very generous. This is from 1969 Mackie Chan. It says, great stream. Keep up the good work. Amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah. It's not common that we get a super chat that isn't asking a question. It's just there to say thank you. So thank you. Yeah, big shout out to 1969 Mackie Chan. W's in the chat for Mackie Chan. Let's go. Let's go. Kevin, I feel like I've answered your question many, many times at this point. I'm so sorry, man. But I have answered that same question a few times now. There's only so many times I can answer the same question. From you directly as well. Remember, guys, by the way, Remember, this is big. Make sure you set your vice captain to a player who you know you're not going to captain. That's really, really important. I'm going to throw my vice captain on Magnon because I know there's, with all of the amazing France players I have, there's no way I'm going to captain Magnon. So for that reason, I'm gonna vice captain him. I'm not going to captain a goalkeeper generally. There might be a good general rule. Vice captain a goalkeeper. Depends on your setup, though, I suppose. It depends on your setup. All right, we've got another super chat here. It says, clean sheet shield next round is better in it. In my opinion, for my team, yes. Why? Oh, because you can't change your captain to the player who is your vice captain. So, yeah, if you want to change your captain, you can change it to any player in your starting 11 who hasn't played yet, as long as they're not your vice captain, which is really, really annoying. Since when you're moving your captain, your vice captain becomes obsolete anyway. They should just remove the vice captain in those instances. But I don't know how hard that is to program. But yeah, I would be looking to vice captain a player who you know you're not going to captain because of that reason. Forever, Mr. Gunner, £1 super sticker. Thank you very much, Mr. Gunner. It's not hard. It's just an oversight. Oh, fair enough, Joe. Fair enough. I mean, to be fair, there are perhaps a few oversights in the World Cup fantasy game, but I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, it is nowhere near as bad as the last one. Oh my word, there were so many oversights that caused all these little weird caveats and tricks, and oh my word, it was a disaster. It was the last one. This one, by comparison, is actually fairly good. Oh, Anonym is here. Right on time, 5 minutes before the end of the stream to try and copy my team. Am I right or am I wrong, Anonym? Am I right or am I wrong? Every stream so far, you appear at the last minute and say, what's your final team? I need it now. Lewis Clements, you've just put in a £5 super chat. And no message. Lewis, I imagine you probably had a message. Please put a message in as a regular chat and I will keep an eye out for it, Lewis. Because that is a lot of Wonga to drop with no question. That's a lot. I do appreciate it, though, massively. Unless you're a Mackie Chan, of course. What's up with Hakimi? Oh, oh, wait, no, I'm just getting auto-translate. Muller Wolf? I'd be looking to probably lose him. Because I like listening to the football stats outside of FPL. It's nice. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. I've just noticed, and him, like, on my videos, there's a lot of like, what's your final team? What's your final team? What's your final team? And it's always right at the end of streams. Or you need to do you need to tell me your final team. Oh, man. Right, Lewis, what you got for me, man? Lewis says, thank you for winning me the FPL and currently smashing the World Cup. It was just a thank you. Lewis, you're so welcome, my friend. It is my job, to be fair. It is my job. But the thanks is massively appreciated regardless. So thank you so much, man. Show Team Gang. Dan, when will FPL content start? As late as possible, man. I mean, really enjoying the World Cup. I'm really enjoying the World Cup, man. It's just such a nice break. I'm happy to wait for the for FPL to come back. I'm happy to wait. Show your budget. 3.5. Which is a clue, by the way. Which is a big clue. All right, should we do the old team reveal? Well, actually, no. Should we cheese it and set a like target? Do we hit 500 likes? We did not. All right, 500 likes and the team is revealed. There we go. Are you watching Morocco? I will be in 7 minutes. I won't be doing a stream or anything though. My wife arrived home like an hour ago. I don't want to go chat and go hang out with her for a bit from work. Let's get to 500 likes. Is Emmy to Magnon worth it for a -4? No. Got to. Oh yeah, we're there. We're so there. You know, it's crazy how easy it is to get likes when it's incentivized. It's crazy, isn't it? Well, there we go. For those of you who joined in this stream earlier on, you will already know this. You already know that this is going to be the team for the new match day. Ta-da! Hal's in. And I hope we can keep him under 5%. I hope. So if anyone's on the fence and not sure about Hal, if you can just do us all a favor and just not get him. Like, I would massively appreciate that, honestly. And if you could spread the word that Hal is a terrible pick. I hope it crashes for everyone else. That's a bit mean. I hope it doesn't crash for any of you guys. But outside of you guys, well, I have slightly less loyalty. But yeah, there we go. Like the stream gang is better than show team gang. Hey, why not combine? Why not combine the powers of both? No booster, by the way, for me, guys. Yeah, no booster this week. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna use my clean sheet shield next round, not this round. I don't have my 12th man, don't have my wild card, don't have my qualification booster, already used all them, and I will be using my max captain in the final match day. By the way, wanted to ask, why did Mbappe get 30 points captain even though he got 16 points without? Because your qualification booster is added on after your captain points. And it's same with the clean sheet shield, by the way. The clean sheet shield is added on after your captain. Is it after your captain points? Can someone verify? It's definitely after the scouting bonus. So if a player, again, is this just oversight with the building of the game? I don't know. So no. Again, I will clearly have to keep saying this. No boosters. No boosters for me. That doesn't mean you shouldn't. But for me, no boosters. We will go again with the boosters next match day. It's going to be Hakimi captain for me. If you want to play it a little safer, maybe Saibari might be a better captain, maybe. But I don't know. I feel like first captain of the match day, you go hard or go home. Baena or Tielemans? I prefer Baena. Like target should have been higher. Was it 605 when you said 500? No, it wasn't. It was at like 420. It just like shot up very, very quickly. Cunha or Hakimi 12th man? Probably, maybe Hakimi is, again, higher risk, higher reward. Will you be doing UCL next year? I've never done UCL content. I don't really think I'll start doing it now, to be honest. Will Medina start? Who knows? Game's in 3 days. I'm 50-50. Cunha or Hakimi 12th man? Like, if you want to take a risk, go for Hakimi. If you don't, go for Cunha. I think if it was my team, I'd probably go Hakimi because I don't mind a risk. Cristiano, 12th man. Not for me, no. By the way, guys, if you are still making decisions, we are really running out of time. You've got to have 1.5 minutes left. And the website is known for crashing in the minute before deadline. So I would encourage you to finalize those decisions. The time for questions is kind of over. Dembele for 12th man. If I didn't have Dembele, I would be using him as 12th man. Yeah. I'm not playing a booster. I prefer Hakimi to Saibari as a captain because I don't mind a risk. The best defender under 4.1 million is probably Medina if he plays. If not, Hal. 12th man, depends who you don't have. I mean, honestly, there is not enough time for me to explain all of the best 12th man options and you to go onto the website and change it. At this point, you have to vibes it. Go for, I don't know, if you don't have Dembele, go for him. If you don't have Mbappe, go for him. I don't know. You should have joined the stream earlier, man. We are 30 seconds. We've discussed all of these things at great length over the past 2 hours. I'm so sorry. You've got to go on the website and sort out your team. Stop asking me questions. Stop typing. You are running out of time. You are out of time. You're 18 seconds left. Stop asking me questions. Karen, should you use the qualification booster? Yes, probably. But you have 10 seconds to click the button. So I don't know if you're going to be able to do it in time anymore. Oh, my word. Guys, we are locked in for yet another match day. Huzzah. Huzzah. Right, well, I'm going to go and watch Hakimi tear up Canada. No offense, Canada. Love your country. Love your work. But for this week, I have no affiliations with any team other than my fantasy team and England, of course. That's the way to be. Right, guys, thank you so much. The game has started, so we're going to all go off and watch some football. All of the games are great, so there's no real time to stick around and chat here. You guys want to go watch the football? So do I. If you wouldn't mind dropping a like on your way out, that would be massively appreciated. Do not forget to subscribe if you haven't done already. We will be back with some videos throughout the week. It's going to be a bit better for videos this week because there's a small break between the quarterfinals. No, so sorry, between the round of 16 and the quarterfinals. There's going to be a couple of days there, so we're going to be able to actually make some videos with full information going into the quarterfinals, which is awesome. Awesome. Been waiting for that. So, guys, I'll see you on those videos. Perhaps see you on the next stream as well. Cheers, guys. Enjoy the football. Good luck in Matchday 5, and I will see you all later, mates. Bye-bye.